and welcome to part 2 of our VDB series in Unreal Engine. In this particular part, I'm going to go through the thought process of putting the scene together, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to achieve. Now, the way I set it up in this video is not exactly the way I had my final render coming out, but it's pretty much following the same steps, so please feel free to use that as a reference. Overall, I recommend anybody to use VDBs in Unreal Engine, be it from Houdini or EmberGen or any other software that can produce such an effect. They're great and they actually look phenomenal, so please feel free to do that. And thank you for watching the second part. You really are committed to really, to learn something today, which is great. Let's not waste any more time. Let's begin. And in the first part of this video, I'm gonna go through, as I said, the thought process. The main idea for this project and this render is basically to have a sort of a flow of a camera that goes from point A to point B. It's pretty straightforward, but when we're gonna have a bit of curving or not a lot of movement, but basically the camera just moving through the scene. And what I want to do is I want to have at the point of at some point we want to have a small cluster of nebulas, but as you get closer to them you realize that this is actually quite gigantic, and then that's the first cluster, and then the second cluster will be something like that, and then the third one like that, and then it just gets smaller. So pretty much that's how we'll see these clusters. So when you reach the cluster number 1, basically you'll move on to cluster number 2, which is effectively within 1. So at the point of you reaching cluster number 1 and you're starting to see cluster number 2, cluster number 1 is still in your frame, or you are still within that VDB body, because the cluster number 2 exists within cluster number 1. And it's the same thing for cluster number 3, which exists in cluster number 2, but in total it also exists within cluster number 1. And cluster number 1 extends all the way to the back, to the point of B being this distant point where you'll eventually reach, but you don't necessarily have to. We just need to get out of these clusters, and as I said, in that meantime you're basically doing this transition through each of them, and navigating different peaks and bounds and places where the nebula is formed. And with that in mind, I've got a map in here which I've loaded, and this is a very massive map. The line that you're seeing across is actually a rail system, a camera rig rail, and the camera moves on this and moves on to the point where this nucleus is, and the backdrop there is just a flat plane curved with a texture on it to sort of emphasize a further end point. Which I may or may not use in the final render. It really depends. And now as I get closer to that, we've got these other volumetrics in front of it, and they need to be laid out in such a way that it's creates that sort of scene that I was talking about clusters and how they exist. Now, one thing to note is that I've got quite a few of them, and the performance can get pretty bad if I'm not careful. So I'm going to stay further away from them. And this is the first cluster that I want to use, which I am going to be looking at bringing closer. So let me just select it, which is it's called this massive nebula, and I can bring this over like that. Because of the size of how big this nebula is right now in the scene, so the scale is really big, I can't even rotate it through the viewport. So if I try to rotate, nothing will happen. There's like a glitch in Unreal Engine, but I can rotate it from here. I can move it, however, which is good enough, I guess. But this is how big this is right now. And I'm just going to try and place it in such a way that it's useful to me. So maybe something like that, and I can also bring it a bit higher. Obviously, as you pass through with the camera, you'll have to be able to work out how each of these points look like and where should the nebula actually be sitting. So I'm going to be doing maybe something like that. And maybe our first cluster is somewhere at the top of this. We could potentially put one above as well, just for a more interesting sort of fly through. And then we would need to just decide, maybe at this point is where we find, the first cluster, and then where the second one will be. So I've got some of these VDBs over here, and I'm just going to select start a one, and I am going to increase its size, maybe even more. So that's how big that is. It's probably, well, actually, it's probably a bit too big now. So let me just make it smaller. But I am going to increase this number so it does get a bit chunkier. So we can put this up here like that. Now, I do want to maintain some form of a logic behind all of this. So because this nebula, this first cluster is right here towards the set, towards the start, which by the way, I believe I need to make it smaller now. Yeah, something like that. Because I'm going to be, putting it here at the start, I do want to sort of maintain the same kind of color profile as the main nebula, as that's something that visually I am going for. So let me just rotate this a bit more, maybe something like that. I'm not really, obviously this is just blocking out. I'm not really sure when I'm going to leave these. As you can see, my FPS tanks whenever I get close to it. If I want to get better FPS, I can just put the step size to 1, and then even getting close to it, it's not that big of a deal now. So in terms of color, I can just deactivate color transmittance, which will do what I wanted. And I can just sort of increase that color, maybe like that. Maybe color it a bit more, you see. So I can do something like that, and now it sort of resembles more what we got underneath. So this probably still needs to be a bit bigger. So let's just try a number 2. And I can put this over here. So I'm thinking when we reach the end of this particular cluster, we'll be able to get to the next bit, which is maybe these 2 nebulas, which I'm going to bring over here. These are smaller than that one, so I might be putting them somewhere like that. Now bear in mind, we are still within the first cluster, and we just want to be able to fly through the second and then through the third one. So maybe something like that. And now we'll want to do like a fourth cluster, but first let's just make sure that the colors on these 2 are what I want. So I'm going to be doing this into, again, a bit of a, well, bit of a bluish tint, but I am going to disable color transmittance, and I'm going to select the other one here. Again, disable color transmittance. I don't know yet exactly if these are going to be placed in this particular shape, but maybe something like that. Yeah, we'll see. We're just going to have to author the camera as it goes through there. And now we want to bring in the next sort of set, so 3 and 4. So we'll bring that together like that. As you can see, I've been experimenting with the camera rail a bit, but I'm not too bothered about that right now. So this is going to be number 3 and number 4, and these, in terms of their scale, we are going to have to tone that down, maybe even more. So I'm going to try and bring the scale quite low. So I'm going to select number 3, bring it a bit, well, maybe somewhere around there. It's probably going to have to get closer to this. So for me, really, at this point, it's like trying to get very close to both of these nebulas and be able to enter through them. So that's going to be a bit tricky to land, but obviously with just a lot of, precision, timing, setting up. The reason why I've got the scene so large, by the way, is because I want the whole feel of this to be quite epic, and probably more VDBs need to be added in order to facilitate that. Now, in terms of the coloring on this, I'm going to be activating color transmittance, and then I'm going to be changing this to a bit more of a purplish sort of color, like that. And then this one, activate color transmittance and probably go for a bit more of a bluish tint. Yeah, something like that. That should look quite nice. But now we can see that we're already pretty skewed off from where the camera, where the track is. And it's very difficult to line up this track, especially when you're trying to land on such small scales. But you can do it. For me, personally, what I'm going to be using is just a normal camera, and I'm just going to move it manually for now. I feel like in this particular scene that might work better. So I'm just going to actually go in here, go to cinematics and add a camera. And then I'm able to pilot said camera, and I'll be able to move as further away as I want. So it really depends on what is my entry point. Do I want to have an entry point? Maybe something like that. I think the entry point has to be set in such a way that your point of view just shows that particular part there. So we're going there from a very far away distance. And then we can have a look at using a sequencer to save this camera and move over into that direction. So now I've got the movie sequencer in here, and I've added the camera in, and you can see the camera cut here is like, that's how many frames I want to do. So one thing that I want to do is select this camera and make sure that I'm using a DSLR, digital, no, not digital, DSLR, like that. And that will give me a nice FOV. So now bringing in this in here, let me just try and bring it downwards like that. And then we can move. So we've got the transform, which we can add a key note right here. Maybe we can go further back, something like that. Okay, and this saves automatically because I've got this key pressed over here. So let's just say by the point I've reached maybe this frame, I want to have already moved into sort of a position where I have entered this first phase, and maybe get somewhere like that. That will be the first point. So if we go backwards now and we play this, we can see how this is moving. This is in cubic mode right now, so it's going to slow down as it approaches. Now by this point, maybe I then want to enter through here, and then by this point I may want to go through here, and then right about here I have passed through, and as you can see I can get over there, and then like that, pretty much. So then we've gone through and we've got to this point right here, something like that. I'm not sure if that's going to be the end one. This is just what I'm just sort of blocking out right now, so we can sort of see the entirety of this as we go through it, and it's moving quite nicely through. See, it's sort of descending. The camera wasn't turning up as I would have liked, and then it goes through here. So that's kind of an initial point. It's not incredible, and I would say I, for example, don't like how over here, I like how it's sort of descending over here, but then it just sort of goes really downward like that, which is not exactly what I want. So I'm just going to be skipping that. Actually, I'm going to be deleting all of these keynotes, and as I'm here, I'm gonna have to make a decision how this is transitioning. We could probably be doing that, then doing this like that, and then reach this point. Now this is not exactly as I said, a point that I would like to do necessarily. Still feel like I need more more volume in here to be able to make this work. And as I pass through, it's going downwards, and then it goes over here, and we're passing through this nebula here. Now in order for us to properly see this, we could have a look at modifying the step size. So put all of this as 0.1, which is obviously going to have quite a bit of an effect. But yeah, we could have a look at selecting all of these, and we should be able to change them all at once, like that. And then just step size 0.1, and this changes everything to 0.1, which also means low performance. So this will obviously not work at the highest of performance as we go through. Very low FPS here, and we're able to then go through like that. And as you can see, it just passes through and then goes in. I may want to increase the density on these nebulas. It may not be enough, and probably the camera is moving a bit too fast for some of them. So now I'll just be going into iteration and changing and, you know, getting the right setup, the best setup that I want to have on this. So in the end, I decided to go on with the camera rail, and I've changed some of the VDBs I was using, and this is what we've, you know, finally got. And we've got the camera pretty much going to these smaller clusters within the bigger cluster, and then we move straight through here. Obviously the FPS drops down quite significantly when we get close to these VDBs at this maximum quality, or, you know, give or take almost maximum quality. So we transition through each of these points, and what I've done is, for the camera rail, I've made sure not to have the camera locked to the rail's orientation, but instead I have animated the camera's rotation on its own so that I get a nicer smooth sort of movement. And that's very important, because otherwise the camera would just suddenly move as it traverses. As you can see, wherever we have these sort of points where the camera has moved from one angle to another angle and so on, if you just use the camera rail with the lock orientation to rail, you'll have a lot of problems. But overall, that's the sort of effect that we got, and I'm quite happy with it. And as I said, this particular render is just in black because that's what the client wants for this particular scene. And there we have it. I hope you guys really enjoyed learning a bit about volumetrics, VDBs, and all that stuff, you know, the setup and everything in Unreal Engine. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something today. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you have. Please consider looking at my Patreon. I would really like to say thank you to my Patreon supporters and to the Creo members. You guys make all of this possible by supporting me monthly. I really appreciate it, and more content will come on those pages. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoy and keep creating.